race for the playoffs, and these two separated by just a couple of wins. EWE Baskets Oldenburg host Rosa Radom from Poland. Well, the fight for the last 2 or 3 playoff spots in Group C is tight and tense, and with just 5 games to go in the regular season, each game starts to seem more and more significant. The home side Oldenburg in 3rd place at 5-4 are just 2 wins better off than their 7th placed opponents today. Rosa 3-6 and hoping to keep themselves in contention, while also avenging a heartbreaking overtime defeat to the Germans back on game day 3. Elsewhere in this group on game day 10, Asvel edged Neptunas in a battle of the top 2 last night. Ventspils have just about beaten USAC tonight. PAOK host Varese at the same time as this one here. And what a close-fought game it was between these two back on game day 3 of the regular season. Maybe a little tougher tonight for Rosa Radom playing in Germany. And they really did let it slip on home court in Poland, no doubt about it. EWE Baskets Oldenburg will be the favourites. Here's the Group C standings. The top 2 both look in a strong position to reach the playoffs, and then just 2 wins separating 5 teams. The top 4 guaranteed a place in the next round. The 4 best 5th place teams will also make it through. So at the moment it's PAOK in that position with Ventspils and Oldenburg ahead of them, but I'm sure there'll be plenty of twists and turns over the next 5 weeks or so. Our feature Group C game from Germany this evening sees 2 teams on display who pushed each other about as close can be on game day 3. Oldenburg prevailing in overtime, having trailed by as many as 18 points and by 14 at the start of the 4th quarter. And this is the Rosa Radom roster, very short-handed, as you can see, and without the number 13 Tyrone Brazelton, who is their leading scorer and leading provider this season, so more responsibility on the likes of Jordan Callahan and Gary Bow and Michał Sokolowski. It'll be a tough task, particularly short-handed here in Germany against Oldenburg. The home team's roster a little more padded out. Chris Kramer at the top there runs the offense, 5.5 assists per game. Ricky Polding, the number 23, averages in double figures and had 17 points in that previous meeting in Poland. And then Brian Quali towards the bottom leads the team with 14.2 points, 7.7 rebounds and 1.1 blocks per game. The leader in all 3 of those departments. A huge double-double from him in that meeting in Poland. 20 points, 10 of 12 from the field, 10 rebounds and 3 blocks. Oldenburg winning the 4th quarter in that one, 21-7, to come from 14 down at the start of the quarter and tie the game to take it to overtime, where they won the game by 4. What a costly slip-up that could be for Rosa when it's all said and done here in the regular season. Rosa being introduced now to the fans in Germany, 3-6 so far. Started with an 8-point home win over PAOK, then lost by 21 at Ventspils on game day 2. They suffered that overtime home loss to Oldenburg on game day 3, responded with back-to-back wins to go 3-2, beating Murat Bey and Varese by single figures. But since then, they've lost 4 in a row, including by 19 at PAOK last week in Greece, and by 16 on home court to Ventspils, the last game they played in this competition. So they really are facing an uphill task now to qualify for the next round, and especially against this set of Oldenburg players. EWE Baskets 5-4, and they have been the kings of close games so far in the Basketball Champions League. 8 of their 9 games decided by 7 points or fewer. All of their first 7 games decided by 5 or fewer. A run that included a 1-point road win at Ventspils on game day 1, a 1-point home defeat to Neptunas on game day 4, and in between those two, a 2-point home defeat to Asvel on game day 2, and a 4-point overtime win that we've talked about against this opposition, Rosa Radom, on game day 3. Last week they lost by 7 at the French champions Asvel. Well, the reverse of this matchup in Poland was very evenly matched in terms of the numbers. Oldenburg survived 17 turnovers of possession and survived shooting 28% from three-point range, but put together a late 17-0 run to force overtime before going on to win, having trailed for over 38 minutes of the game in Radom. Rosa quite simply will feel they threw it away on home court. They had just 6 players score in that game and ran out of steam with such a short rotation the longer it went on. Will that be the case here in Germany? Can they keep it as close, Rosa? Or will EWE Baskets Oldenburg just show their quality and tighten their grip on third place in Group C? The Germans do have a rich recent history. Bundesliga champions in 2009, German Cup winners just last year, and ever present in continental competition for the past 9 years, playing in the Euro Cup for the last 3 seasons. They're desperate to progress all the way to the latter stages of this competition. And as far as Rosa are concerned, this campaign really is the culmination of an incredible journey for them. They'll keep fighting to try and make sure it doesn't end in the regular season. They were playing in just the Polish third tier 6 years ago. Since then, 2 promotions, a first ever appearance in the Polish League finals and a first ever trophy, winning the Polish Cup earlier this year. This is just their second ever continental campaign. Well, they know they have little to lose really now, Rosa Radom. They've had that 4-game losing streak after a promising start. This is the starting 5 that will try and turn it around. I've talked about most of those players: Callahan, Ballon, Sokolowski getting the start, along with Victor and Jackson. Jackson, another American. The Americans are key for Rosa. Even missing their star man Tyrone Brazelton, Gary Bell and Jordan Callahan will have most of the scoring responsibility for the team led by coach Wojciech Kaminski. Gary Ball averaging 14.2 points per game, as well as a team-high 1.8 steals. Callahan, 11.7 points, 4 assists and 3.3 rebounds over 3 games so far since arriving at the club. Here's the EWE Baskets starting 5. Chris Kramer, very efficient in running the offense. Ricky Polding, one of their key scorers, 11.11 points per game. And to the right there, Philip Schwiethelm had a joint game-high 20 points on game day 3 in Radom. He was 4 of 7 from downtown that day, considerably higher than his season average of 6.1 points. Oldenburg led by head coach Mladen Driencic. Oldenburg currently down in 8th place in the German Bundesliga with just an 8-7 record, although there has been an improvement recently. They've won 3 straight and 5 of their previous 7 before losing by just 2 points on Saturday. And Rosa Radom not doing too well themselves in the Polish League, 7-5, 5-1 on home court, winning their last 4 in a row in Radom, but on the road they've lost 4 of their last 5. And it's been a similar scenario in the Basketball Champions League. Here we go then, a former German champion against last season's Polish League finalist. Last year's German Cup winners taking on the current Polish Cup holders. It's EWE Baskets Oldenburg against Rosa Radom, live on game day 10 of the Basketball Champions League. Out of bounds in the end, off Bell. Athletically saved by Chris Kramer over on the far side for Oldenburg. So it's going to be the home team here in Germany who have the chance to score the first points. And straight away a discussion between the officials, which is being closely monitored by the EWE Baskets Oldenburg head coach. Kramer the inbound. Controlling the ball is Dominic Lockhart, young German player, now Kramer again. Here's Lockhart again, back to Kramer. On further this time to Schwiettown, kicks it back out. Chris Kramer looking to attack, blazes his way past Jordan Callahan but can't finish. And here comes Callahan, trying to get Rosa the lead early on. Really good atmosphere in the EWE arena. Here's Vitka, onto this near side to Sokolovsky, and it's knocked away and out of bounds. Last touch off Ricky Polding. Michal Sokolovsky involved there for Rosa Radom is their top local talent, 10.6 points. And a team second best, 7.3 rebounds per game this season. Although he had a nightmare of a game last week, shot just 1 of 11 from the field for 4 points. Still waiting for the first score, and we might get it here. Turning on the afterburners again is Chris Kramer. And trying to answer back, Callahan down the other end, forced to kick it back out. Wide open 3 for Jackson, will drop. And Rosa get themselves in front. Darnell Jackson, who's averaged 11.1 points and a team high 7.6 rebounds so far. Polding across to the far side. Open look from the outside is good, and they answer back with a 3 of their own. Schwiettown. It's got a really good feel to it, the opening few minutes of this Basketball Champions League contest. Good atmosphere and some sweet strokes on the floor. Here goes Jackson, trying to battle his way in. Rebound grabbed, and behind the back it goes from Kramer. Chris Kramer looking very lively early on. Across to the far side. In the high post, it's handed off to Polding. Kramer trying to fire it in towards the low post. The hesitation got 2 defenders up in the air. Dirk Merdrick, the coolest man in the arena right now. Darnell Jackson, the handoff to Callahan. Callahan being backed down by Lockhart. There he goes, blazes past him, but can't finish. The tip from Jackson won't go either. And it's going to be EWE Baskets ball. So Oldenburg getting the better of the early exchanges. A couple of misses now from Jordan Callahan. We've seen composed play in the paint and on the outside so far from Oldenburg. Chris Kramer at the heart of everything in their offense. Across to the far side to Merdrick. Kramer almost had it knocked away. Closed down by Callahan, who will match him every step of the way for energy at least. But inside, free, under the hoop to finish once more is Dirk Merdrick. Oldenburg up by 6 points early on. Lovely little pass from Kramer. Merdrick just put it in straight away that time. Only averages 4.4 points per game in this competition. He's got 4 already in the opening 3 minutes here. On this near side is Ball. That's going to be a long 2. If it goes down, it doesn't. The rebound grabbed by Kramer, who's everywhere right now. He does have that kind of an influence on this team. He pads out his stat line in the box score all the way along. Almost knocked away on the far side. They squeeze it out off that sideline though. This is Lockhart. Pirouette move in the paint, and he puts it in with the contact, but there's a travel called. Just took the extra step. It looked pretty, but it wasn't legal. We'll see it here, the pirouette, extra step. And the basket waved off. Vitka. Sokolovsky calling for the ball in the low post. It pops out to Callahan now. Steps back behind the three-point line, feeds it into Jackson. Shot clock's down to the final few seconds here. Jackson hangs but can't hit, and the rebound's pulled in by Merdrick, the 33-year-old German centre who's made a promising start. It's a nice fizz pass to the far side, and it's good. Another one from the outside. Dominic Lockhart knocks it down, and that one will force a timeout from Rosa. EWE Baskets well and truly in control early on. And the lead stretched to 9 points.
Very good focus, guys. Very good energy. Okay, coach, you know, stay so in the defense, communicate in the defense. Okay, coach again, up the cut. When they change the side with the ball, reach faster here, close to this place. Okay, let's go. Next offense. Give me three, hold three side, for it, hold three side. Okay, let's go. 2, 3.
We saw the numbers from the first 4 minutes there. EWE Baskets Oldenburg 4 of 5 from the field to start, including this one from behind the three-point line that forced the timeout. And they've hit a couple from downtown already. And Rosa Radom have started just 1 of 6 from the floor. Jordan Callahan, the ball handler for the Poles. On it goes to Darnell Jackson, who's hit their only basket of the game so far. Sokolovsky looking to take on his man. Hangs it in towards Jackson. Across to the far side, on the move, trying to get away from the far corner. The tip comes from Jackson. So Darnell now has all 5 points for Rosa. A big basket for them off the back of the timeout. Polding in towards the foul line. Freeman over on the far side. Here's Kramer. The closeout, Polding left with a bit of room on this near side. And it's batted back, an offensive rebound and a fresh 14 to work with towards the midway point of the first quarter. Nice bounce pass, and cutting in off the baseline to finish is Merdrick, who has 6 early points. Bell, the crossover on the perimeter, puts it in off the glass. He had Kramer on toast there. Here's Chris Kramer, maybe looking to respond at the other end. And Schwiettown with the handoff to Lockhart. Kramer. Schwiettown calling for it on the foul line, then comes out, sets the screen. It goes around the perimeter instead, in towards the number 33, Schwiettown, who set the pick and roll, able to get himself close to the basket, free to finish. Jackson hands it off to Sokolovsky. Now Vitka onto Callahan. Callahan will fire from way beyond the setting sun. He gets it to drop. Rosa Radom have closed the gap to 6. Jordan Callahan a good few feet behind the three-point line. They try to swing it around the perimeter through Lockhart out to Kramer, and it's knocked out of bounds. Rosa had been trailing by 9 when that timeout was called and had just scored one of their first 6 field goal attempts. They're back in business now. They've hit 3 of their last 4 since the timeout. Into the game is Massenat. Across to the far side, shot clock dwindling down. The 3, this time pops out and Jackson grabs the rebound. A chance for them to get even closer with Sokolovsky. Tracked down, caught by Schwiettown. Darnell Jackson unleashes, and it's nothing but net for Darnell, who's got 8 points in the opening quarter. And Rosa are back within 3. And we're going to have a timeout now from the home team because the Poles have stolen the momentum. With a few minutes of the first to play, it's EWE Baskets 16, Rosa Radom 30.
up. You stay here, or is two down. He go, and you stay this side. Let's go, hey, I'm a focus, I'm a attack this, okay? Let's go. Watch for the press break. After this, and the play zone, two go. Got it. At the handle, that doesn't street for you. They go to the corner. It's too big game. You roll down, you try to attack, push the ball, okay?
So Darnell Jackson leads the way of all scorers in the game so far with 8 points, 2 of 2 from downtown, 3 of 5 from the field. 8 points in just 6 minutes on court so far for the American centre. EWE Baskets led by the 6 points inside of Merdrick. He's 3 of 3 from the floor. Massenat across to the far side it goes. Tezeu into the game as well. Massenat moving it on. This is Quali back out to the perimeter. Shot clock's dwindling down here. Final few seconds. They have to get a shot away. They will from the far side. They get a good look at the end of the shot clock. And Franz Massenat gets it to drop. Almost from centre court. They only had 4 seconds to work with. And Rosa will feel they could have done better defensively there to close down the gaps on the perimeter. Vladimir Mihailovic, a new arrival at Oldenburg, is into the game for the first time in the Basketball Champions League for them as well, wearing the number 22. Here's Callahan. Back out it goes. Damian Yeshka, 21-year-old Pole, moves it on. A chance to get into the lane. Great athleticism and power through the paint from Gary Bell. Massenat on to Kramer. Kramer back out to Massenat. Screen set, not for the first time, by Tezeu. Tipped from the low post back out to the far corner. They get a lucky break there, fired back in. Quick attack will result in foul shots. And it's on Darnell Jackson. Really quick roll towards the basket there from Brian Quali. The 28-year-old American centre has had a phenomenal campaign so far. 14.2 points per game, 7.7 rebounds. He ranks 8th in the competition in that department, and 1.1 blocks. He's shooting 59% from the field, which is the second most accurate field goal percentage in the Basketball Champions League. And what a performance he had against Rosa in Radom back on game day 3 with a double-double, and a very efficient one at that, shooting 10 of 12 from the field. Quali has to settle for 1 of 2 from the line here, but he's up and running. Callahan. Ziskovsky. Ball. Going around the screen of Adams. Shot clock to the final few seconds, and it's good for Gary Ball for 3. He got room on the perimeter and knocked it down. We've got a 2-point game on our hands. Kramer. Adams on defense, being backed into by Quali, and he does a really good job, and Bell's able to grab the ball and then got caught, I think, by Chris Kramer. So already they've done a better job on Brian Quali, Rosa, than they did back on game day 3 on their home court. They're just making life a little bit more difficult for him inside. Here's Ziskovsky. The handoff on the far side by Yeshka. Ball off the mark. Was looking for back-to-back threes. Gary Ball making a very positive start here. 3 of 5 from the field for 7 points. The first miss from the outside for Rosa. They had hit their first 4 3-point attempts of the game. Oh, knocked away into the hands of Adams. Now a chance to come down the floor in transition. The pull-up 3 won't go down. Jeschke battling for the rebound. It is going to be Rosa possession. They did have numbers on the fast break, 4 on 3. Although they have been lighting it up from the outside, so why not have a go in transition with the pull-up 3? Didn't fall for them. No harm done though. They still get the possession. Here's Bell. Approaching the final minute of the first. Adams back to Callahan. Callahan can't get round the big frame of his opponent, but how about the three-point shooting from Rosa Radom? 5 of 6 from downtown, and from 9 down in the first quarter, they take the lead. Lovely pass inside, and Quali will put it in after some tremendous play on the perimeter. Here's Callahan. They work it around the perimeter again with Bell. Goes around the frame of Adams. Across to the far side, Zyskovsky puts the ball on the floor, tries to hang it up. He might have chose to take on the 3, but he stepped inside this time, and the floater wouldn't go. A foul off the rebound from the missed shot, as Chris Kramer was battling away with Kim Adams. And the decision goes Oldenburg's way. They lead by 1, and we've got pretty much 0 differential between shot and game clock at the end of the first quarter. So Oldenburg can hold it here for the final shot of the first. Mihailovic on his Basketball Champions League debut, clinging onto the ball. Quick pass inside and a foul. They went quickly with still 7.6 seconds remaining. A foul on Zegzula, which will send Quali back to the line. Mihailovic trying to catch Rosa off guard with the quick play. Came a little earlier than perhaps the Poles might have anticipated. So Brian Quali will be at the line where he's 1 of 2 so far. And he makes the first, but Rosa will have 7.5 seconds to try and respond. And both good this time for Brian Quali. So 5 points in the first quarter for him. And now Rosa Radom have 7.6 seconds to advance the ball the full length of the court. And they do get forward quickly. Callahan, but knocked away from behind by Quali. They still pick up the pieces, but miss the shot. And there's still time for Quali to grab a rebound as well. What a big play at the end of the first from Brian Quali, the centre, coming up with a steal. And Rosa trail by 3 at the end of a very entertaining first quarter. So EWE Baskets Oldenburg 24, Rosa Radom 21. Here's the score at the end of 10 minutes of basketball. Here's a look at the shooting numbers, very impressive indeed, particularly from the home team. Rosa impressive outside, but struggling on the inside. Chris Kramer has been impressive early on. Plenty of energy, plenty of positivity and aggression on offense from him, scoring an early basket, but Rosa have been red hot from beyond the arc. Darnell Jackson's hit a couple from downtown. Inside, though, the composure has come from Oldenburg. Dirk Merdrick with 6 points, 3 of 3 from the field. Look at that move, getting 2 defenders up in the air, leaving himself with a simple finish. It is the home team who lead by 3 as we get ready to start the second quarter. Callahan draining a long three-pointer. Rosa in the first, 5 of 7 from downtown. Start of the second quarter, Oldenburg 24, Rosa Radom 21. Yeshka, on it goes to Sokolovsky, battling away. There's a wrestling match in the paint and he's lost out to Mihailovic. They still fire the three, off the mark from Yeshka though. And EWE Baskets come up with a defensive stop on the first possession of the second quarter. Vladimir Mihailovic, screen set by Quali, the pick and roll inside. Mihailovic clings onto the ball. Shot clock already down to 5 here. Quali will come and set another screen, trying to create room on the perimeter. The three ball for Messenat is good. Oldenburg double the lead to 6. Callahan to Damian Yeshka. Look at that three-point shooting from both teams. Down at the bottom of your picture. Callahan. Adams coming to set the screen. Callahan around him, steps in for the long two, misses. And this one grabbed off the boards by Mihailovic, who's getting really involved now on his debut. Quali. Look at the difference inside though. Rosa really struggling. The three, good again for Oldenburg, who are giving Rosa a taste of their own medicine in this second quarter. This one from Maxime Deseu. All of a sudden, the Germans back up by 9, which ties the largest lead of the game. Rosa to try and respond. They can't, and Quali grabs another rebound. Back-to-back threes has made this a 9-point game instead of a 3-point game in the opening 2 minutes of the second quarter. They have a chance to extend it to double figures here. Getting inside, this time off the glass, it's good for Vladimir Mihailovic, the first double-digit lead of the game. Here goes Callahan through the gears, across to the far side. Is there a foot on the line there? There is. Always a tough turnover to take, with a player positioned in the corner in a good position. Good facilitating at the basketball to try and find him, but he's got a heel on the line, and it's a turnover. Fine margins that can make the difference at this level in this sport. Mihailovic back to Lockhart. Lockhart trying to get in towards the paint, kicks it back out. Mihailovic to the corner, step in from the corner by Polding, and he floats it beautifully. And Oldenburg continue in the ascendancy, leading by 13. Almost a steal on half court, just about recovered by Sokolovsky to the far corner. Here's Damian Yeshka. There's a drought at the start of the second for Rosa, and the foul called here on Dirk Merdrick. Rosa haven't scored in 2.5 minutes of the second quarter so far. Oldenburg have been bursting out of the gates. At the start of the second, have already scored 10. There's a foul there on Dominic Lockhart. First foul of the second quarter, non-shooting foul, so Rosa will inbound from the far sideline. Jackson with the handoff. Here's Bell. They swing it around to the corner to Sokolovsky, who's hit. A second foul in quick succession on Oldenburg. And this one on Vladimir Mihailovic. Mihailovic is going to the bench. Actually, the third foul by the looks of it on Oldenburg. I'm not sure if that's the second or the third. I think it's the third on Mihailovic as well, so that's why he's going to take a seat. Sokolovsky looking to attack aggressively inside and banks it in to stop the rot. It had been a 10-0 Oldenburg run at the start of the second quarter. Lockhart. Now Chris Kramer to the far side, just about reached its intended target. Almost taken away from behind on the dribble, and 2 attempts won't go down for Schritthelm. It's still going to be Oldenburg ball though. Rosa not really helping themselves on the backboard here. A couple of attempts to get it to go, and still Oldenburg end up with possession. Lockhart to the far side. Polding, they move it around back to Lockhart again. Screen set by Merdrick. They'll fire the three. Won't go down. Can they grab another offensive rebound? Not this time. And Rosa finally get a chance to have an offensive possession. Now can they build off that basket on their previous offensive possession as Jackson works it to the far side. Sokolovsky, the three, won't go down. Jackson trying to bat the ball to a teammate, but it ends up in the hands of Schriethelm. He's on the ball again, finds Lockhart once more. Schriethelm swinging it across to the far side to Kramer. And it goes to Merdrick, back out to the perimeter. The floater looks short all the way. And Rosa have a chance to come in transition now with Gary Bell. Turning on the afterburners, trying to force it in, can't get the drop. And Rosa again failed to make Oldenburg pay on the fast break. And Merdrick, oh, denied from behind by Jackson. But a goaltend called. Well, let's have a look at this one. Did it touch the backboard? Was it on the way down? Jackson says no. And he doesn't get the call he wants, though. So EWE Baskets up by 13 here. And not surprising that his coach is trying to make his case for him as well. Darnell Jackson, call for the goaltend. Merdrick now has 8 points. So the score in 4.5 minutes of the second quarter so far is 12-2 in favour of EWE Baskets, Oldenburg. The two head coaches certainly feeling the tension now as we move towards the final weeks of the Basketball Champions League regular season, and Coach Kaminsky not being helped out by his team at the moment, who have failed to build off their first basket of the quarter. It's in danger of getting away from his team. Here's Kramer. Lockhart back to Kramer again, calling for it inside as Merdrick. It goes across to the far side. Paulding looks to attack. Kramer now free on the perimeter, is trying to step inside. Oh, Chris Kramer's brought his dancing shoes today. How about that move? Oldenburg up by 15. Jackson hanging it high into Sokolovsky. Back out to Darnell Jackson. Vitka, oh, he faked the shot and then tried to pass it around the defense, but his teammate went the other way, and that just sums up Rosa at the moment. Just not on the same wavelength as each other. A sloppy turnover. All of their own doing. And trailing by 15, a timeout called. Oldenburg well and truly in control.
Hey, it's very good attack that goal guy. Very good attack. Only sometimes I have feeling each time when you attack you watch this. Come on, fella, come on, fella. Hey, let's play one more time now down. Vitya, only wait. Daniel, wait. Just keep it fast. Oh, Doku was open. Doku was open. So wait one more second. If you'll not be open, Vita pops out and look for it. Okay? If not, hand off and touch the roll. Let's go. Let's go, guys.
So Darnell Jackson leading the way for Rosa with 8 points, although all 8 came in the first 6 minutes. He's not scored since. And EWE Baskets have done a really good job of sharing their scoring around. 8 points for Merdrick, 4 of 4 from the field, but 6 for Massenat, who's in a couple from Downtown, and 5 each for Schwiethelm and Quali, as well as a heap of players on 3 and 4. Oldenburg by 15, 4.5 to play in the first half. A chance to extend their advantage here. Kramer almost lost it. Did very well to keep it alive for his team. Merdrick back out. Shot clock winding down. Paulding has to take it on and gets it right on the money to beat the buzzer. Oldenburg up by 17. And it's very much in danger of getting away from Rosa now. They need a really big 4 minutes to take them through to the half-time interval. Sokolovsky back to Jackson. Vitka will fire the 3 and gets nothing but net. A big basket for the Poles. Merdrick, he's going to fire a 3. A 5-star first half performance from Dirk Merdrick. 5 of 5 from the field, his first from the outside, and he has 11 points. Jackson puts the ball on the floor, spots the gap, and puts it in with the contact. How about that shot from Dirk Merdrick, who'd done all of his damage in the low post before that. He just stepped back behind the three-point line and said, I can do this too. Changes for the home team. Franz Massenat coming back in, who's hit 2 of 2 from downtown so far. Darnell Jackson getting his first point since the opening 6 minutes on that last drive, and completes the three-point play just about. So Rosa answer back with a three-point play of their own. The deficit is 15 with 3.5 minutes of the first half to play. Chris Kramer. Merdrick rolling in towards the paint. It goes to Paulding over on the far side. On the move, Ricky Paulding giving Rosa a pummeling. Jackson. Tiskovsky. Lead back to 17 again then, turned over. And I said it before, earlier in this second quarter, Rosa really not helping themselves. A sloppy turnover. It's very much in danger of getting away from them in the first half. And they had protected the ball fairly well before those last 2 turnovers, which were easily avoidable. And Coach Kaminski knows it. Merdrick called for a travel, so Oldenburg turn it back, and that's only their 3rd turnover of the ball game. 17 points the difference. And I said that Rosa need a big final 4 minutes of the half. They need a big final 3 minutes of the half now. It hasn't improved for them. They want to try and get in down maybe by about 10 at the half. Here's Zegzula. Thought about the 2, goes back to Jackson, who'll fire the 3. Another one from the outside for Darnell Jackson. That's 14 points in the first half for him, and 3 of 3 from downtown. They'll try and answer back with a 3 of their own. Off the mark, rebound Callahan. The miss from Wimberg, who'd just come in, the 20-year-old. Here's Callahan. Back to Jackson, he'll fire another one. Back-to-back threes from Darnell Jackson. 4 of 4 from downtown in the first half. Rosa have closed the gap to 11 now. Look at that three-point shooting as a team, but half of those from Darnell Jackson. Here's Paulding going to work on Callahan, turning towards the baseline. He doesn't get the drop, but he does get the contact. So Darnell Jackson now has 17 points in the game in just 13 minutes on court. 6 of 8 from the field, 4 of 4 from downtown. And just when it looked to be getting away from Rosa, back-to-back threes sees a 17-point gap reduced to 11. I said they'd wanted about 10 at the half. They've gone about reaching that mark pretty quickly. Here's Merdrick backing in against Vitka. Trying to turn towards the baseline, back out to the perimeter, shot clock winding down, hanging but not quite hitting. There's Franz Massenat, but again, there's contact. So Rosa, who'd gone about 8 minutes without a foul in this quarter, have now picked up 2 in quick succession. And this one sends Frank Messenet to the line. Didn't have the best game in Poland when these two teams last met. The 24-year-old American was fouled out, shooting just 2 of 11 from the field. He does average close to 10 points per game, though, through this competition. And there you go, has 7 already in the first half. He's hit 2 outside shots and now 2 from the foul line for 8 points. So 13 the difference with 96 seconds remaining of the first half. Callahan. The high press here from Mihailovic. Then he lets Callahan cross half court. Here's Callahan on to Vitka. Vitka steps back for a 3. They missed this one. Darnell Jackson, an offensive rebound though, so a fresh 14 to work with. Jackson then setting the screen. Callahan trying to find a gap and he's fouled. And that's the 5th team foul on EWE Baskets. It's called on Merdrick by the looks of it. So Rosa Radom will go to the foul line with Callahan. And they've only had 1 free throw attempt in the game so far, hit by Darnell Jackson to complete a 3-point play. Merdrick picks up his 3rd personal as Oldenburg pick up their 5th team foul. And Callahan will try and edge Rosa closer before the break. And they've got a good opportunity now, having trailed by 17, to go in down only by single figures. If they can get a defensive stop and a conversion as we approach the final minute of the first half. Messenat bringing the ball down court for Oldenburg. Across it goes to Mihailovic. Mihailovic almost had it knocked away, lost the handle on the ball, but able to regather. Messenat again. Quali setting the screen, moving inside, receiving it now off the pick and roll. And the foul comes with just 2.7 seconds remaining on the shot clock. It's on the game's leading scorer, Darnell Jackson. Jackson with just 1 foul to his name. Quali at the line where he's 3 of 4 so far. And he misses that one, so make it 3 of 5. He was 1 of 2 on his first trip, 2 of 2 on his second trip. And what will it be on his 3rd? And it's 0 of 2. And then they try and recover the ball on the baseline, but a foot on the line from Jan-Niklas Wimberg. So look at this. Rosa now with a chance to make it a single-figure game in the final minute of the first half, when it looked to have got away from them. Callahan. Darnell Jackson this time steps inside into the lane. He was closed down though by Wimberg after getting around Quali. And he got the last touch. You just want to see Darnell Jackson pulling up for another 3 there. He's on fire from beyond the arc. 4 of 4 so far. He chose to try and drive inside that time and he got closed out by the second defender. And now a 3-point attempt at the other end. Pops out. They need to grab the rebound. Quali gets it and puts it in on the offensive glass. Tough blow for Rosa in the final seconds of the first half. They trail by 13. Shot clock turned off now in the second quarter. Jordan Callahan looking to manufacture the last shot of the half for Rosa. He'll go all the way through himself, slices right through the heart of the defense to score. So Oldenburg have led by as many as 17 in the first half. They've scored half a century of points over the first 2 quarters. But Rosa, with a bit of a comeback in the final 4 minutes of the second, have closed the gap to 11. At half-time, it's EWE Baskets 50, Rosa Radom 39. We've got a fantastic basketball game on our hands here in the Basketball Champions League. High scoring, plenty of offense and plenty of runs. It looked as though Oldenburg were going to pull away and make it a non-contest in the second half after they went up by 17. Look at the difference in shooting inside, 71% to 38%, but from the outside, Rosa have been electric, particularly Darnell Jackson, 4 of 4. Oldenburg dominating in the battle on the boards as well. Turnovers, both teams protecting the ball pretty well. The home team just 3 turnovers in the half, Rosa just 5. In terms of the game's leaders, Darnell Jackson 17 points, 4 of 4 from downtown, 6 of 8 from the field. Merdrick 11 points for the home team, hit a 3-pointer himself as well, en route to going 5 of 5 from the field. 2 stellar performances in the first half, 1 on either team. As we look at the rest of the top scorers, Massenat with 8, Callahan and Ball and Polding all have 7. So a really entertaining 20 minutes of basketball here in the Basketball Champions League so far in Oldenburg, Germany. And there's another 20 minutes to come after the break. Can Rosa Radom continue to close the gap on EWE Baskets and come back the way that Oldenburg did in Poland back on game day 3 when they trailed by 18 points? Or will the Germans find their feet again on home court and start to pull away and push towards the playoffs? We'll find out in about 10 minutes' time. The half-time score in Oldenburg, EWE Baskets 50, Rosa Radom 39.
Zwischenzeit als Noah Ebenthal. Der zweite ist auch drin und wir gehen in die andere Ecke. Jetzt wird es hier spannend. Jawohl, und rüber zum Korbleger. Jetzt Batzi, 1,28, 1,29, 1,30 und neue Bestzeit für Noah. Unglaubliches Ziel. Ich fühle hier gerade 1 Minute 32. Das hatte wir definitiv noch nicht. Sauber, alles richtig gemacht. Meine Güte, Jungs, habt ihr geübt. Ist ja unglaublich. Klasse Performance, nicht weglaufen, aber noch 10 Sekunden besser. Sauber, sauber. Das ist wirklich ein tolles Ergebnis der heutigen Levers Skills Challenge. Unser leider etwas unglücklicher Zweitplatzierter mit vorgelegter Saisonbestleistung wird mit einem Heimspiel-T-Shirt belohnt. Ein Heimspiel-T-Shirt der EWE Baskets. Danke fürs Mitmachen. Und unser Sieger bekommt natürlich einen Einkaufsgutschein von Levers Game ohne Spezialisten in Oldenburg. Ihr beide geht aufs Foto. Sauber, sauber. Tolle Leistung heute bei der Levers Skate Challenge hier zwischen Noah und Simon. Und nochmal einen kräftigen Applaus für unseren Sieger Simon Portmann aus Vechler.
Welcome back to Oldenburg in Germany, where we've got a really intriguing basketball Champions League game on our hands here on game day 10 of the first edition of this competition. 50-39, the Oldenburg lead, although it had been as many as 17 points before back-to-back threes from the Poles closed the gap. Back-to-back threes from Darnell Jackson, who has 17 points in the first half. 4 of 4 from downtown, 6 of 8 from the field in 15.5 minutes of play. Rosa have 7 apiece from Callahan and Bell, who've both also hit from the outside as a team. 8 of 14 from downtown for 57%, although really struggling inside on the interior against Oldenburg. Just 38% shooting, 6 of 16. EWE Baskets, the home team, led by the 11 of Merdrick, who's 5 of 5 from the field. They've had 8 points from Massenat, who's hit his only 2 shots, both from downtown, as well as a couple from the line. They've got 7 from Polding and from Quali. And they too have shot very well from the outside, 7 of 12 for 58%. The difference is that they have shot well inside as well, 12 of 17 for 71%. So overall, Oldenburg 65% from the floor, Rosa just 47%, and that translates to an 11-point difference. They have won the battle on the boards as well, 17-10. Although Rosa have had 1 extra shot in comparison to their opponents. We've had a game of basketball where both teams have protected it fairly well. Oldenburg just 3 turnovers in the half, Rosa just 5. And let's hope we have more free-flowing scoring in the second. Both of these teams capable of going on runs with the quality they have at their disposal. Although Oldenburg on home court, you imagine the more likely to take the game by the scruff of the neck in the third quarter. Rosa will have to continue their push from the final minutes of the second quarter. It'll be hard for both teams to keep up that kind of 3-point shooting percentage through the second half, so it may come down a little more to that interior battle where Coach Kaminski's team have really struggled so far. Here we go, start of the second half in the Basketball Champions League between Oldenburg and Rosa Radom. Almost lost by Lockhart, but he recovers under pressure from Sokolovsky. And Rosa close to forcing a turnover right out of the gates at the start of the third quarter. Polding able to move it on. Quali now on the baseline. Looking to go one-on-one, maybe. Nice bounce pass and the big jam from Polding. EWE with a WWE size slam. And Rosa rocked against the ropes at the start of the second half. Here's Jackson. Jackson back to Callahan. The lead to 13 points. Sokolovsky pulls up for the long 2. Off the mark, Sokolovsky. Recovered, though, by Callahan on the offensive board. Back out to Sokolovsky. This time tries to pass it inside to Jackson, and he turns it over. So not a good passage of play for Michal Sokolovsky. But how about this thunderous dunk from Polding? Lovely pass from Quali. Drew the attention of the defense. Polding with the cut behind Vitka. Here's Ricky Polding again. This time the floater wouldn't go down for him. A chance to run the floor for Bell. Callahan pulls up for the 3 in transition and gets it. Jordan Callahan with a big basket from the outside. On by Quali, who's in the high post right now. They know he won't take the 3. They'll take this one on, though, and it's nothing but net from the far side. So the 3-point shooting show continues. And the lead back to 13. Bell He threatened the three, went on to Vitka. Jackson coming out to set the screen. Bell goes the other side of it, behind the back dribble, and a lovely piece of play in the paint from Gary Bell. Rosa certainly not looking like they're going to back down in this second half. Here's Polding. So it deflects away into the hands of Jackson. Quick pass down the court. Sokolovsky lost it, but he's fouled from behind. It really hasn't been going Michał Sokolovsky's way. Just 2 points in the game. 1 of 3 from the field. And he very nearly missed the chance to score in the open floor there, but he was fouled from behind and will get a chance to earn them on his first trip to the free throw line. Sokolovsky averaging over 10 points per game and 7.3 rebounds. And he's had 2 points and 0 rebounds in the game before that foul. And he gets just 1 of 2 from the stripe. Lockhart. The difference is 10. Here's Kramer. Kramer looking to move it across to the far side. I think the pass was aimed at Quali. It was off the mark, recovered though. Shot clock down to the final seconds. Here's Quali going to work on Jackson. Hook shot is too low. Rebound grab though and a fresh 14 and thrown back by Schwiethelm. Fired in. Quali fouled by Sokolovsky. It was all over him. Really good work on a couple of occasions during that passage of play from Brian Quali. And he will get a chance to add to his 7 points from the line. And there's a look at his stat line so far. 3 of 6 from the stripe and 2 of 4 from the field. That one called as the unsportsmanlike foul on Darnell Jackson. So foul shots and possession for EWE Baskets. That's how concerned Darnell Jackson was about the presence of Quali underneath. Kramer. Polding trying to squeeze it on towards Quali again, knocked away and out of bounds. So Quali now on 9 points. Medrick on double figures for Oldenburg. 3 more threatening to get there. Polding 1 of them, misses that shot. Offensive rebound again. Rosa struggling to live with Oldenburg on the boards. Quali fakes the pass out to the perimeter. This time does pass it out, but Kramer had moved the other way. Quali's going to get a rest here as Dirk Medrick, Oldenburg's leading scorer, comes back in. Really good strength and depth that EWE Baskets have in that centre position in particular. Gary Bell, Sokolovsky. Sokolovsky taking the ring road around the defence, tracked all the way though. Shot clock down to the final seconds. Out to Bell. Bell puts it on the floor, has to get the shot away, doesn't. He was stripped to the ball. And here come Oldenburg down the floor. No-look pass in towards Ricky Polding. But that's why the no-look pass is such a skill, because it's more difficult to make. And Dominic Lockhart turns the ball over. 12-point game. Callahan trying to reduce the arrears. Sokolovsky, difficult night for him so far. On to Bell, who's had his moments around the screen of Jackson. That's a long 2. It's too long. Jackson, the big offensive rebound, can't put it in, grabs another one, gets fouled. And look what it means right now to Darnell Jackson, battling away in the low post. He gets a trip to the line for his hard work. And I think he's a little frustrated though that he didn't get hit on the conversion for a chance at a 3-point play. And this is a standout season performance so far from Darnell Jackson. 17 points and 5 rebounds as well as a steal. He misses the foul shot though. He'd hit his only previous attempt from the line to complete a three-point play in the first half. He does get that one to fall. And it's an 11-point game. Messinat. Merdrick. Moved on by Kramer, who gets it back here on the handoff from Schwiettown. Merdrick with the pick and roll. And the foul on the perimeter is on Gary Bell, I think. First on Bell. Non-shooting foul, so Franz Messinat will inbound from the sideline to Seyu into the game for Oldenburg. It comes to Merdrick. The handoff to Messinat. He thinks about the three, he takes it on, off the front rim. Victor gets his fingertips to it, and then Darnell Jackson and Gary Bell getting in each other's way in trying to secure the rebound. Both of them would have been favourites to get to it and keep it in Rosa possession had they not both been there. To Seyu. Polding up against Jackson, who commits the foul. Jackson's second foul of the game. Certainly game on at this stage when it might not have been. Oldenburg led by 17 in the second quarter, and Rosa were struggling to find any kind of joy. Now here's Merdrick, who steps back beyond the three-point line again. Six-shooter Dirk Merdrick, 6 of 6 from the field. What a game for him, 14 points. Callahan, corner of the paint, fades away, knocks it down. Beautiful arc on that shot. Messinat, Merdrick coming out to set the high screen this time. It goes on to Dezeu. And now Kramer off the handoff on the perimeter. Merdrick on the pick and roll inside. Dezeu, Messinat, the three. Not this time for him. Difference is 12. Sokolowski looking to travel the length of the floor, denied by Dezeu. No joy whatsoever for Michał Sokolowski in Germany this evening. Rosa continue to struggle inside, but Sokolowski continues to struggle all round. 1 of 5 from the field. Just 3 points in the game. Messinat tracked by Callahan. Mihailovic across to Messinat again. Merdrick setting the screen. Messinat around him, greeted by Jackson. There's another three. The first miss of the game for Merdrick. He'd made all of his previous 6 attempts from the floor. Callahan fouled by Dezeu. 3 team fouls apiece in this third quarter. How about that for a hard hit? Kramer feeling it in more areas than one, I think. Callahan pulls up from the foul line, a little short, can't get the bounce. Dezeu with the rebound. Messinat. Merdrick setting the screen again. Dezeu looking to hand it off, goes the other way though. Ran into Ziskovsky, back out to Messinat. Still plenty of time to work with here. Merdrick again on the screen. They'll fire the long three, not the best shot creation on that offense. And Bell will grab the rebound. Oh, he's lost it. Well, Rosa have had their chances to close this gap down into single figures. A couple of sloppy defensive plays on that side of the floor. The rebound that Jackson and Bell lost between them when they both went for the same ball, and then that one, it looked as though he'd grabbed it and lost it off his fingertips. Now, I think the coach is saying there was a foul there, but The referee is shaking his head, quite insistent that there wasn't. Sorry, Coach Kaminski. Teseu, Mihailovic, Messenet. Medric, the screen again. Final seconds of the shot clock. Messenet getting inside those long arms, but he doesn't touch the rim. So when it comes down for Medric to grab off the glass, it's actually a shot clock violation. The ball has to touch the rim within the 24 seconds for the shot clock to be reset. Quick play down the floor as Callahan gets it back from Vitka. We've not had a score in quite a while. Here goes Callahan through the gears, out to Ziskovski for the three. And he was wide open but missed the shot. Teseu. Again, another chance for Rosa to make it a single-digit game goes begging. Mihailovic. Svitown. On it goes to Medric, leading scorer for Oldenburg. Backing in, going to work on Adams, one-on-one. There's the head fake, turns around, drops the shot. Brilliant again from Dirk Medric, who now has 16. He's 7 of 8 from the field. Nice pass in towards Ziskovski, who's fouled by Svitown, and I think it's an unsportsmanlike that's been called on Philip Svitown. Maybe a route back into the game in this third quarter for Rosa. And their target will probably be at this stage closing it to a single-figure game for the start of the fourth quarter. Yaroslav Ziskovski gets the first to bobble in. He's not had much of an impact tonight, Ziskovski. In fact, that's his first point. He's missed 3 attempts from the field, but gets both from the line. And Rosa will have possession as well after the unsportsmanlike foul. Ziskovski had 12 points and 5 rebounds last week, played 29.5 minutes. So it's a 12-point game. Rosa with the chance to make it closer, with 2 minutes of the third quarter to play. Callahan. Gary Bell. Damian Yeshka making his way into the paint. Bell clings onto it. Ziskovski looking to drive the baseline. Forced away by the help defense. Here's Bell, the quick crossovers. Pulls up for the 2. Can't get it to go. Rebound, though, by Ziskovski, and he flips it up and in with the circus shot. And the Polish push continues. Rosa have closed the gap to 10. Here's Lockhart. Can they finish the third quarter strongly, Rosa, and get a defensive stop here? The 3 from the far side. Oh, my word. Nothing but nylon from Maxime Teseu. Such a high arc on the shot. Callahan recovers, fades away and hits. Really high quality basketball we're seeing on offense in this Basketball Champions League game. That little scoring drought we had is well and truly put to bed now. Both teams firing on all cylinders again. Mihailovic, 11 points the lead for Oldenburg. The handoff to Mihailovic again. Teseu hit the last 3, knocked away. Can Adams recover it? He can. Bell should score here, attacks, and high off the glass as he forces it in. And Rosa have made it a single-digit game. Timeout called in the final minute of the third quarter. It is very much game on again in Oldenburg.
What you do it? What you do it? What you do it? Box out! Back down! Go low! 1-on-1! Attack! No dribble! No more handling practice! Catch and go situation! Not inside! Fake! You kill me! Give it the solution! Let's go! Go guys, come on! 2, 3! Yes, you play pick and pop. Give me stay under the basket to get the rebound, put back, okay? Now let's go.
I think it's fair to say that coach Drijencic for Oldenburg is not best pleased at the moment. He feels his team have stopped doing the simple things and are in danger of letting this one slip. Remember that Rosa led an 18-point lead slip in this fixture back on game day 3 in Poland. Oldenburg hoping to not let a 17-point lead slip. It has been reduced to 9 in the final seconds of the third quarter. Lockhart. On it goes to the far side. Deseu. Lockhart again. Shot clock down to the final 5 seconds. Inside it goes. Deseu got free under the hoop to finish. Good play off the back of the timeout to stop the bleeding. Shot clock turned off at the end of the third then. Can Rosa make it a single-digit game to take into the fourth? Callahan holding for the final shot of the third. The long three from Callahan wouldn't go down. And they'll have to throw it up, but it's stopped in its tracks, the attempt from Mihailovic by the third quarter buzzer. And it is a double-digit lead that his team have to come back from in the final 10 minutes. They trail 67-56. Oldenburg in the driver's seat.
Okay, dann gehen wir nach da.
Don't try to play full front, because if you play full front, don't try to steal the ball. Because when he can, he has 1 or 2 seconds to finish. So we can defend. And if you are in front and they take a shot, just box you out, take easy forward.
Yeah, 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
We've seen some of the key stats there, and now we'll see some of the key plays. How about the dunk from Polding? Ferocious finish from the American off the nice bounce pass from Brian Qualley. And down the other end of the floor, Jordan Callahan draining the three in transition. Rosa have matched their hosts from the outside, both teams shooting over 50% from downtown in this high-scoring Basketball Champions League contest. Although Oldenburg a little more oppressive inside. And that gives them the edge at the moment by 11. No difference in the scoring differential between the ends of the second and third quarters. A 17-17 third quarter of basketball, so still 11 points the deficit that the away team have to come back from. Lovely move from Merdrick there, who's been the star of the show for Oldenburg. Leading the way with 16 points, 7 of 8 from the field. He's done a bit of everything around the basket, mid-range, and from the outside. Nice fade away from Jordan Callahan. Rosa have 3 players in double figures, led by the 18 of Jackson, 14 for Callahan and an 11 for Bell, but at the moment not enough. They trail by 11, start of the fourth, and they turn it over with the first play and an unsportsmanlike foul called as well, as Chris Kramer looked to burst away into the open floor. So a nightmare start to the fourth quarter for Rosa. They were hoping to make it a single-figure game again, and all of a sudden this could turn into a 4-5 point play. By the end of it, Kramer gets the 2 foul shots, and then Oldenburg get the possession as well. Chris Kramer with 5 points so far in the game. Misses the second. But Oldenburg will inbound the ball from centre court, leading by 12. Lockhart, the ball handler, onto the far side to Mihailovic, who moves it on one further. Out to Kramer, who had a heel on the line. A grimace on his face because what could have been that 4 or 5 point play turns into just a 1 point play. 1 of 2 from the foul stripe and then failing to utilise the possession effectively. So it's just a 12-point differential. And Rosa, to a certain extent, led off the hook for that unsportsmanlike foul. As Kramer looked to burst down the floor, here's Bell with a crossover out to Yeshka. Yeshka stepping to the side for the 3, way off the mark. Didn't hit the rim, so the shot clock continues to wind down, and it's going to be a violation if there's not a foul in there first. Ill-advised shot from Damian Yeshka, the 21-year-old Pole on the near side. Didn't get anywhere near the basket, and then didn't really give his interior players much of a chance. Lockhart. There's a foul, an offensive foul, away from the ball. So again, Rosa led off the hook. This time, though, they have to take advantage of it. They're trailing by 12 with 9 minutes to play. These are the chances they need to make the most of. Callahan. Zyskovsky. Adams hands it off to Ball, who unleashes the 3. Short from him, though. It was a good look. And here come Oldenburg. So no score yet in the 4th for Rosa. Kramer. Across to the far side it goes. One way and then the other goes Mihailovic. Kramer now will fire the 3. Almost backed it in at the end of the shot clock. Zyskovsky. We've had just 1 point scored in nearly 2 minutes of the 4th. Zyskovsky is going to get tripped there on the foul line by Yannick Friese, who just come into the game. Making his Basketball Champions League debut tonight, having joined the team late in the regular season. Non-shooting foul, so Zyskovsky will inbound the ball from the near side. Still the 12-point differential. Can Rosa finally get going on the final straight? Callahan. Shot clock down to the final 5 seconds. Callahan looks to quicken the offense now. He'll take on the 3 with a hand in his face, but knocks it down. Jordan Callahan giving Rosa a lifeline. He makes it a 9-point game. Their first score of the 4th after starting the quarter with a 2-minute drought. Mihailovic. Shot clock down to the final 5 seconds here as well. Knocked away into the hands of Zyskovsky. A chance to build momentum for Rosa. A chance for back-to-back 3s, but Sokolovsky thought twice about it. Here's Callahan, who's tripped, but turns it over. And I thought the tripping foul was going to be called on Mihailovic, but it was good defense. And the officials indicating that Callahan turns the ball over. And that is a big blow to Rosa. We maybe just saw in that possession as well the lack of confidence at the moment from Michał Sokolovsky. He might have taken on the 3 otherwise. The momentum dissipated from the transition offense. Kramer. Kramer, the bounce pass in towards Quali, denied, and here comes Sokolovsky. Big defensive play for Rosa. Now can they build off that defensive base on the offensive end with Callahan? On it goes from Yeshka. Sokolovsky, the bounce pass slipped out of the hands of Adams, recovered on the baseline. Zyskovsky in behind, he's denied by Quali, and there's a battle on the baseline that goes in Oldenburg's favour. Just lost it off his thigh, I think, did Adams there. And Zyskovsky unable to finish around the rim. So it's a 9-point game still. And Oldenburg with a chance to make it double figures again. Mihailovic. Quali making his way inside, drew the attention of the defense. The three-point shot from the far side was short. Yeshka's quick push down the floor, and Sokolovsky with the jam in transition. Rosa have closed the gap to 7. Kramer to Seu. It's been a good atmosphere in this arena, but it's a hushed one now. The three off the mark, Mihailovic. Yeshka the rebound. Callahan clings onto it. More of a strut in the step of the Poles right now. Shooting 50% from the outside. Callahan tries to get inside this time, goes around the big frame of Quali and fires the three from the far side. Offensive board lost by Darnell Jackson. It looked like he had his hands on it. And there's a foul on Yeshka as Kramer looked to burst forward quickly. Rosa have got themselves in a really good position here, having trailed by 17 in the game and by 11 at the start of the fourth. They trail by 7 with 6 minutes to play. And they're in the ascendancy right now. Kramer from the outside, it's good for Deseu. Big shot for Oldenburg. Gets them back in business. The 29-year-old Belgian giving his team a big shot in the arm. Darnell Jackson onto Yeshka, who fires the contested three but knocks it down. What a response from the 21-year-old Pole. Damian Yeshka making it a 7-point game again at the midway point of the fourth. Quali across to the far side to Mihailovic. Back to Deseu, who hit the three on the last possession for Oldenburg. This is Kramer, shot clock down to the final seconds. Deseu unloads again, back-to-back threes for the Belgian. And Oldenburg refused to let Rosa get within touching distance. Both teams have lit it up from the outside at the EWE arena. 4.5 to play in the fourth. Callahan turning on the afterburners but throwing it away. And it should be a free basket down court as Mihailovic says, "Thank you very much." And Oldenburg have overdrive in the fourth. Timeout called. The Germans back in pole position.
Let's go, guys. Now give him no back. Final play, 4 minutes, play. Go. Everybody. Focus, every contest. Go in the face, okay? Rebounding, and good communication. Now go number 1 and number 14 to score, okay? This is it. Let's go. Everybody go low. Play on defense, offensively. Attack it. Then moving the screen, please.
I've talked a lot about how efficient a game it's been from Dirk Merdrick rather, the German centre, who's done a bit of everything. 7 of 8 from the floor for 16 points to lead his team. But how about the second half performance from Maxime Deseu, the 29-year-old Belgian, who's now 5 of 5 from the field and 4 of 4 from downtown for 14 points, giving them a huge boost when they needed it because Rosa had got within 7 and we're looking to close the gap even further. Here's Jackson, tough shot, it'll fall for Darnell Jackson, who's earned that bit of luck with his performance tonight, now has 20. 10-point game, 4 minutes to play. Kramer on to Quali. Kramer on the move, but the pass doesn't come his way in the paint. Back out it goes to Mihailovic. Polding. And there's a foul called away from the ball. With 6 seconds left on the shot clock, it's on Jackson. Darnell Jackson 7 of 10 from the field now. An agonising wait to see that one drop in. 5 rebounds and a steal as well. Jackson 4 of 4 from downtown, but now so is Deseu for Oldenburg. We're going to see Ricky Polding at the line here. And I didn't see the foul. I must admit, I think there's must have been a technical called, because Polding shot the one, and Oldenburg will have the possession as well. Kramer to Mihailovic. Quali setting the high screen. Kramer and Mihailovic getting inside and able to finish off the glass. So it's a 13-point lead now, 3.5 to play. And it's starting to look like mission impossible for Rosa, despite their push in this second half. Ziskovski, Vitka, handing off to Sokolovski, who struggled this evening. He gets fouled on the perimeter by Polding. 3 team fouls apiece now in the fourth. Ricky Polding on to double figures as well now with 10 points. 3 on double figures for both teams, although EWE Baskets have another 3 players on 8 or 9. So they really have spread the scoring around. 6 players between 8 and 16. Here's Bell, one of the 3 in double figures for Rosa, twisting and turning, trying to hang it over the top of the defense. Darnell Jackson, another offensive rebound. He just refuses to give in. A really spirited performance, full of character and fight from Darnell Jackson. 20 points and now 6 rebounds in the game. And he's back at the line where he's 2 of 3 so far. A shake of the head and a little grimace after that miss, because he feels still that Rosa have a chance in this one, but you've got to hit your foul shots. They have had chances to really turn the tide and get themselves on top. Mihailovic, oh, no look pass after the pirouette, but a travel call. Be interesting to see that one again as the ball was worked in towards Brian Quali. Vladimir Mihailovic has played long minutes on his Basketball Champions League debut for the club. Here's Jackson battling away towards the paint, over the top of Quali, the finish. 22 points now for Darnell Jackson. Looks like it's going to be too little and too late for Rosa, though. They trail still by 11 with 2.5 to play. It's not impossible, but it is highly unlikely at this stage. Kramer on to Polding. Polding trying to pass it back to Quali, squeezed the pass there, and he doesn't get the roll as Bell grabs the rebound. Pushing the ball quickly down the floor, out to the outside. Gary Bell, the 3. Well, that might have changed things had that one gone down. Just under 50% from the outside now, Rosa, after that miss. Quali, knocked away from behind by Jackson. Almost recovered by Sokolovski from the blind side. Across to the far side it goes. Shot clock right at the end, and it falls for Polding, who penetrated the paint and then hung it up beautifully. Oldenburg ready to dot the I's and cross the T's on this win. Sokolovski firing a contested 3 off the mark. And it's recovered by Deseu in the end as it hit the backboard again. Sokolovski 2 of 6 from the field now. Has really struggled to build any kind of rhythm in his offensive game. Mihailovic misses there. Sokolovski disappointed that he got hit as he grabbed the rebound. And it's a 13-point game as we head to the final minute. Darnell Jackson at the high post, across to the far side. Gary Bell for 3. He got fouled on the 3-point attempt by Maxime Deseu. Very nearly a chance at a 4-point play. Instead, Bell will go to the line for 3. And once again, there's been some promising performances from this Rosa roster, although they are really playing short-handed. Just 10 players travelling here to take part in this game day 10 matchup in the Basketball Champions League. Zegzula has only played 3.5 minutes. Bojanovski playing just 6 minutes as well. So most of the minutes really have been spread between 6 players. Oldenburg, great strength and depth. We talked about that strength and depth of the centre position with Quali and Medrick. And they've got quality on the outside as well. Kramer to Deseu, and he gets one from the foul stripe as well. What a performance from Maxime Deseu, who's now 6 of 6 from the floor for 16, to tie Medrick as his team's leading scorer. EWE Baskets Oldenburg just 40 seconds or so away from going 6-4 in the Basketball Champions League and keeping hold of one of those playoff places. They've put themselves in a really good position to progress here to the next stage. And Rosa are going to really struggle now over the last 4 games. They might need 4 wins to try and make the next stage. Bounce pass picked off. And the final shot will come from the visiting team. Bounce pass and put in by Vitka. Although there's still a bit of time maybe for Oldenburg. Polding just dribbles it out. And EWE Baskets Oldenburg have their 6th win in the Basketball Champions League. They withstood a bit of a Polish push in the second half to claim the spoils, but showed their quality again in the end, thanks to Deseu and Medrick, who both finished with 16 as they take the game by 12 points, 83-71. They had Rosa at arm's length throughout the vast majority of the last few quarters after a 50-point show in the first half. And they dropped gears in the second, but still got the job done. 16 points from Medrick, off 7 of 8 shooting, 16 off 6 of 6 shooting for Deseu. Efficiency personified by the 2 EWE Baskets players. And Rosa, despite a couple of huge performances, 22 points, 6 rebounds for Darnell Jackson, off 8 of 12 shooting and 4 of 5 from downtown, and 17 points for Callahan, off 6 of 12 shooting. They come up short in the end. They also had 12 from Gary Bell, but they lose the game by 12. As we see the shooting numbers, the 3-point shooting at 50% for Oldenburg. Rosa just couldn't keep up with them in the 3-point shootout in the end, and Oldenburg winning the battle on the boards as well. Look at the assist. That shows you how much easier they were moving the ball around. Not too far off being double the assist numbers. And creating easier and better looks, despite those 2 extra turnovers from the home team. Oldenburg have played 10 games now, and this is just the second one of those 10 that's been decided by more than 7 points. And there's a look at the leaders. I've mentioned a few of those already. Really good distribution of the scoring for Oldenburg. In the end, finishing with 6 players between 8 and 16 points. And they got good support from this German crowd as well. Smiles on their faces. They know that they're in a good position now to make the playoffs of the first ever season of the Basketball Champions League. They will tighten their grip on third place in the group. And Rosa now in need of a blockbuster finish to their regular season campaign to try and make the next stage. Maybe 3 or 4 wins required from their last 4 games to have a chance as they fall to their 5th straight defeat in this competition. It's been a pleasure having your company in the Basketball Champions League on game day 10. We're going to have a break next week for the holidays, so happy holidays to everybody watching. There may still be a few games going on around Europe for the next hour or so, so do tune into those. But from me, Tim Long, as I say, happy holidays, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks' time.